The US is now deep into a catastrophic, unconstitutional war with Iran, one that Donald Trump launched without congressional approval, dragging American troops and taxpayer dollars into yet another endless Middle East quagmire. This isn't self-defense, it's a reckless escalation driven by Israeli interests and neocon warhawks, and the American people are rejecting it in overwhelming numbers. Right out of the gate, the polls are brutal for Trump and his war machine. Multiple recent surveys, from Quinnipiac, NPR, PBS, Marist, Reuters, Ipsos, CNN, and others, show majority opposition to US military action against Iran. Quinnipiac's latest finds 53% of voters oppose the strikes, with only 40% in support. NPR, PBS, Marist reports 56% against, with just 36% approving Trump's handling. Even early aggregates and snap polls after the February 28th launch pegged initial support as low as 27 to 41%. Far below historical benchmarks. World War II started with 97% backing, post 9/11 Afghanistan at 92%, and even the disastrous Iraq invasion began at 76%. This war kicked off underwater and is sinking fast. Why the rejection? Americans aren't buying the fear-mongering. A stunning 55% told Quinnipiac that Iran did not pose an imminent military threat to the US before these strikes, despite non-stop propaganda from outlets like Fox News claiming nukes were weeks away. 77% expect retaliatory terrorism on US soil as a direct result, and 74% firmly oppose sending ground troops, with even many Republicans saying hell no. Trump's own aides are reportedly panicking, briefing him on the dire numbers and urging an exit ramp before his base crumbles further. Publicly, White House spokespeople spin it as ending the Iranian threat, but the facts scream betrayal. Trump campaigned on no more endless wars, yet here we are, bombing for a foreign power while gas prices spike and our economy takes hits. The cost in American blood is already climbing, and the administration is hiding the true scale. Reuters reported up to 150 US troops wounded in the first 10 days, far beyond the Pentagon's initial trickle of 8 seriously injured. The DoD later admitted around 140 wounded, claiming most are minor and many have returned to duty. But trust in these numbers is zero after years of underreporting in past conflicts. 7 service members confirmed dead so far, with more likely unreported. Families are terrified. One viewer shared their grandson, fresh out of boot camp, being deployed to Iran. This is the human price of a war fought on Israel's behalf, not America's. And who's cheerleading loudest? Lindsey Graham, the Senate's neocon-in-chief, whose unhinged rants reveal the bipartisan war consensus cracking. On Fox, he threatened Saudi Arabia. If you're attacked by Iran, we would go to war for you. As if he's president, not a senator bankrolled by over $1 million from pro-Israel groups over his career, per Open Secrets. He blasted the kingdom for not joining strikes, warning of consequences if they don't escalate, despite their defenses already intercepting Iranian drones. Graham's ex-posts bully allies. UAE for neutrality, Lebanon for not disarming Hezbollah, even Spain for denying air bases. To Spain, you won't let us use your air bases to stop a homicidal regime, he snarled, invoking nukes weeks away, a lie debunked by intelligence, echoing WMD hysteria. If you're already feeling the rage at this unconstitutional Iran war, Trump's illegal escalation, Lindsey Graham's threats to half the world, billions wasted on Israel's fights while our gas prices soar and troops come home wounded, then let's lock in right now. Smash that like button if you're done with endless wars and corporate-captured politicians. Your thumbs up helps this reach more people waking up to the truth. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, that bell icon, so you never miss an update on these imperial disasters, the class war at home, or the growing resistance across the left and right. We're building an anti-war, pro-worker movement here. No corporate sponsors, no BS. Stick around, the facts get even more damning. Let's keep exposing this together. Speaking of Israel, the mask is off. Polling shows eroding support. Roughly equal shares, around 44%, now say the US is too supportive of Israel versus about right. A massive shift from decades of near unanimous backing, fueled by one-sided corporate media narratives portraying Israel as perpetual victim. Online truth-telling and independent voices have broken through the propaganda. People see the occupation, the influence buying, the billions in unconditional aid. A recent poll, echoing progressive critiques, found 49% of Americans believe the US doesn't owe Israel any more money, with only 30% saying continue financial support. That's a sea change. We've been bled dry for a foreign government's wars, racking up trillions in debt while domestic needs go unmet. As left voices have long argued, this isn't alliance, it's capture. Politicians bought or blackmailed, our foreign policy hijacked. Even some Republicans are waking up, with younger ones especially rejecting endless funding. Trump's flip-flopping exposes the chaos. One day, unconditional surrender demands, the next claiming the war could end soon, or escalate. No clear objectives, no exit strategy, just bluster. He accomplished bombing civilian sites, including an elementary school, killing over 160 girls, decapitating the regime, only to empower a harder-line successor, and costing $1 to $2 billion daily. Our money, our kids' futures. Meanwhile, Israeli polls show far higher domestic support, 82% approving, highlighting whose war this really is. From a leftist perspective, this is peak imperial overreach. A billionaire president, influenced by massive donations, like $300 million from pro-Israel megadonors, launching illegal aggression under international law. No UN authorization, no imminent threat. It's class war abroad to distract from class war at home. Progressive outlets like Democracy Now! And The Intercept have hammered the point. Wars for empire and allies enrich defense contractors while devastating working-class soldiers and civilians. The anti-war sentiment crossing party lines, Rogan calling it insane and a betrayal of Trump's promises, independents fleeing, shows cracks in the bipartisan war consensus. Viewers, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how unpopular this war is, why it's unconstitutional and unnecessary, how Israel's lobby drives US policy against our interests, and why growing casualties and economic pain will only accelerate the backlash. The American people are saying, no more blood for oil, no more treasure for Tel Aviv. Stay tuned, this disaster is far from over, but resistance is building. As the resistance to this disastrous, unconstitutional war with Iran builds, the economic fallout is hitting working Americans hardest, proving once again that endless conflicts abroad serve the elite while squeezing the rest of us. Retired General Jack Keane, a fixture on Fox News and board member at defense giant General Dynamics, casually dismisses the pain. Are we really saying that we cannot accept several weeks of oil prices maybe being higher than what they should be to take Iran off the map? From a leftist lens, this is the arrogance of war profiteers incarnate, men who pocket millions from contractors like Boeing and Lockheed Martin, untouched by the inflation and job insecurity they unleash on families already struggling under corporate greed. The Strait of Hormuz blockade, where 20% of global oil transits, has sent prices skyrocketing. Brent crude hit $80 per barrel in the first days, per Reuters, with UBS forecasting $100 to $120 if disruptions last beyond 3 weeks. In the US, AAA data shows average gas prices at $3.20 a gallon, up over 4 cents for petrol and 8 for diesel in a week, as reported by the BBC. That's not abstract. It's families choosing between filling the tank and buying groceries. Oxford Economics warns of added cost pressures on energy-intensive industries, potentially triggering stagflation, a toxic mix of stagnant growth and rising prices that hammers workers while the rich hedge with oil futures. Republican lawmakers are panicking behind closed doors, knowing this undoes their big, beautiful tax cuts, mostly handouts to the top 1% anyway. An anonymous House GOP member told Politico, "If you are a Republican and not concerned right now, you are stupid." Another admitted the war threatens to erase the meager benefits for average folks, with gas prices sending Americans right up the wall. Senator Rand Paul, often a rare voice of reason on war among conservatives, nailed it. "If we are still bombing Iran, with oil over $100, I think you're going to see a disastrous election." From our perspective, this exposes the GOP's hypocrisy, trumpeting fiscal conservatism while funneling trillions into imperial adventures that benefit donors, not constituents. The Tax Foundation estimates those 2025 individual cuts totaled $129 billion, but Raymond James projects consumers shelling out $150 billion more on gas if oil stays $20 above pre-war levels. That's the war's hidden tax. $1 to $2 billion daily in direct costs per Pentagon leaks, plus indirect hits like depleted interceptors and skyrocketing insurance for tankers. We pay for the fleet, the missiles, mostly shielding Israel, and now hire everything, while Israel reaps the security gains. As Jacobin has long argued, this is capitalism's war machine at work. Halliburton-style profiteering, where Blackwater alums like Keane lobby for endless conflict to line their pockets. But Graham's bloodlust doesn't stop at Iran. "Free Cuba, stay tuned, the liberation of Cuba is upon us," he crowed. eyeing regime change there too. From a progressive view, this is imperial delusion. Graham, funded by defense contractors like Boeing, $61,000 in recent cycles, pushes wars that drain our treasury, $8 trillion on the global war on terror alone, per Brown University's Costs of War project, while domestic needs like healthcare and housing starve. Common Dreams captured his glee. "We're going to make a ton of money," he said on Fox, admitting it's about oil profits, not threats. 787 dead in Iran. Global chaos. For what? Corporate windfalls. Even right-wing voices are turning. Megyn Kelly ripped him. When did Lindsey Graham become our president? In the past 24 hours, he's threatened Lebanon, Cuba, the Saudis, the wider Arab region, and now, Spain. Representative Ana Paulina Luna echoed, "If Graham wants to go fight, let him be the first to volunteer." This cross-aisle backlash signals hope, the dam breaking, as independents, now the largest voting bloc, reject the lies. Younger Americans, untethered from Fox propaganda, see the economic toll. Brookings notes war-driven gas spikes could derail recoveries, squeezing the working class hardest. Yet, as The Intercept reports, Graham's influence persists via AIPAC's grip. 94% of Congress got their cash last cycle, blackmailing or buying policy. It's treasonous subservience. Our taxes fund Israel's bids, not America's future. But Netanyahu's pivot to India shows even he reads the tea leaves. US support wanes as polls shift. This war's unpopularity, economic pain, and casualties will fuel the anti-imperial movement. Stay vigilant. The fight for peace and justice continues. The backlash against Lindsey Graham's deranged warmongering is mounting across the political spectrum, and it's a beautiful thing to witness. Proof that the American people are finally fed up with neocon lunatics who treat our country like a personal ATM for endless foreign adventures. But here's the real hope. This war's unpopularity is cracking open cross-aisle alliances that terrify the establishment. When independents, the largest voting bloc, reject both parties' war consensus, and younger Americans, left and right, refuse the Fox-fed propaganda of their parents' generation, real change becomes possible. We've seen it before. The Iraq War started with 76% support thanks to lies about WMDs, but ended at 43% after trillions wasted and thousands dead. This Iran conflict began at a pathetic 41% and is already cratering further with rising casualties, 150 plus wounded, 7 dead per Reuters, and gas prices climbing. The dam is breaking because people are connecting the dots. These wars aren't about American security. They're about Israeli interests, oil profits for Halliburton types, and donor cash for politicians. The establishment hates when we transcend partisan bubbles. Hyper-partisans on both sides, well-to-do talking heads who've profited from the status quo, freak out when left and right start talking, let alone agreeing on anti-war basics. That's why voices like Joe Rogan calling this insane and a betrayal of Trump's promises, or independents ditching the duopoly, spark such rage. But those conversations are the future. Younger people, hit hardest by inflation, job insecurity, and the draft risk, aren't buying the imminent nuclear threat hysteria that's been recycled since the 1980s. Netanyahu's fear-mongering about Iran's nukes has been debunked repeatedly by intelligence assessments. No breakout capability imminent, no delivery systems to hit the US. Yet Graham parrots it, comparing critics to Hitler appeasers, while ignoring that Trump himself resisted Netanyahu's pressure in his first term. From our side, this moment feels optimistic because it's organic. Online truth-telling, independent media, and social platforms have shattered the corporate monopoly on narratives. People verify for themselves now, no more relying on Jake Tapper or CNN to frame Israel as perpetual victim. Support for unconditional aid is collapsing. Polls show nearly half saying we owe Israel nothing more. That's not anti-anything, it's pro-American priorities. We need that money for healthcare, housing, green jobs, not bombs and interceptors. As The Nation and Jacobin have documented, the military-industrial complex thrives on perpetual conflict, but public tolerance is evaporating. This war's economic pain, $1 to $2 billion daily, skyrocketing fuel, potential stagflation, will accelerate the shift. Republicans privately panic that it undoes their tax cut promises. Democrats who stayed silent on Gaza now face voters demanding consistency. The anti-war sentiment crossing lines isn't coincidence. It's class consciousness awakening. Working people, regardless of party, see the same reality. Our blood and treasure sacrificed for foreign lobbies and corporate greed. The resistance is growing, the polls are tanking for this disaster, and the old guard is scrambling. Stay engaged, keep talking, keep pushing. The future belongs to those who refuse to stay silent. If this video opened your eyes to the unconstitutional disaster of Trump's Iran war, dragging us into Israel's fight, wasting billions, costing American lives, and spiking gas prices while the establishment lies, then don't just watch and scroll. Hit that like button right now to boost this truth and reach more people fed up with endless wars. Drop a comment below. Are you done with politicians like Lindsey Graham selling out America? What's your biggest takeaway? Share this video with one friend or family member who still thinks this is about protecting us. They need to hear the facts. And if you're ready for unfiltered, anti-war, class-conscious commentary, subscribe and turn on notifications. We're building a movement against empire and corporate capture. Join us. Together, we can end these wars and reclaim our country. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.